house. It is loaded with improvements and upgrades and a pool house valued at close to $800,000. So you have to check out Tapawingo. And our other listing at 1302 Wild Horse Meadows in Chesterfield. What a great property. Again, $1,150,000. That's a gorgeous home with an indoor pool. And what about Babbler Forest Road, Rick?
Babbler Forest, beautiful home listed in Wildwood. $575,000. It's 4-bedroom, 4-bathroom, custom built home, beautiful millwork, and a beautiful view from the deck that you can see for miles. And it's sitting on 3 beautiful acres.
And of course, don't forget about 1126 Weens Road in St. Albans, listed at $1,999,999, and that's over 6 acres. Stunning backyard, finished walkout, lower level, a great property.
We also have 101 Capitol Court in St. Charles, Missouri, listed at $1,150,000. It's a 5-bedroom, 5-bath house. Beautiful custom built home, 4,280 square feet, sitting on 0.664 acres, and it has a 6-car garage.
And 14356 Manchester in St. Louis, right there off Manchester Road. Great commercial property listed for $449 on about a half acre. There's 2 buildings. Great property. Also, don't forget, if you have any questions about any of the properties we've discussed, visit TracyEllis.com. You can see all of the homes there. You can always call me direct at 636-299-3702 or Rick at
636-699-2197.
Have a great weekend.
'Cause I'm gonna make this place your home.
Thanks for stopping by the radio home of Rick and Tracy Ellis. For more information on Rick and Tracy Ellis, check out their website, TracyEllis.com. Or you can call Rick or Tracy Ellis at 636-299-3702. Rick and Tracy are always interested in making you a part of their future shows. Call Rick or Tracy for more information. Their number again, 636-299-3702. Rick and Tracy will be back next week with more of the Rick and Tracy Ellis Show. We'll see you then.
KFTK FM, Florissant, KFTK AM East St. Louis, K254CR St. Louis. Powered by Window World. FM News Talk, 97.1.
Adding amendments to an already revised Senate health care bill. I'm Jane Metzler, Fox News. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell trying to convince more Republicans to get behind the Obamacare repeal measure.
2 Republicans have already said that they plan to vote against the revised health care bill, so Senate leadership cannot afford to lose a single senator for this bill to have any chance at passing. That is no easy task, though, just given the number of lawmakers who are undecided. Fox News has learned that at least 5 moderate senators met with Majority Leader Mitch McConnell on Friday to ask for increased funding for Medicaid in the bill. Senators Dean Heller of Nevada, Lisa Murkowski of Alaska, Rob Portman of Ohio, Shelley Moore Capito of West Virginia, and John Hoeven of North Dakota each come from states that expanded Medicaid under Obamacare and have concerns about funding cuts to the program in the current bill.
Fox's Garrett Tenney, health care just one of their concerns. Those protesters in Chicago, one of several cities where demonstrators today are voicing opposition to the Trump administration. Cheers of support for the president at Trump National Golf Club in Bedminster, New Jersey. The president's there watching the Women's U.S. Open. A shelter set up in Honolulu for residents of a high-rise condo complex. 3 people killed in a fire there, a dozen injured.
The 3 individuals were found on the 26th floor, so that's the floor of the origin of the fire. And right now we're going door to door to see if there's other folks. We're not sure exactly what the total count is right now.
Honolulu Fire Chief Manuel Neves, built in 1971, the high-rise had no sprinkler system. An inmate firefighter who was battling a wildfire in San Diego County killed after he was cut by a chainsaw when a branch snapped. The 22-year-old serving a 3-year sentence for spousal assault. Fox News, fair and balanced.
Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling. Weather with Dave Murray.
Plenty of sunshine, nice from start to finish. 89 for the high this afternoon. Low humidity tonight, gorgeous. What a wonderful evening on the way. Clear skies and nice 65 for the overnight low. Sunday, partly sunny skies, few more clouds around. Looking for a high near 90. The heat and humidity building back next week. I'm Fox 2 meteorologist Dave Murray for FM News Talk 97.1.
Divorce is a serious thing. To the extent that you can save your marriage, you should. No one knows that better than the attorneys at Cordell & Cordell.
Attorney CPA Joe Cordell.
As many of you know, we represent men in domestic relations cases. And most of our clients are captive to a process they didn't choose. If they could have, they would have saved their marriage, but their wives told them they want out. Suddenly at issue are the assets they've been a lifetime accumulating. What's more important, their role in their children's lives. If you're confronted with a marriage you can't save, we hope that you'll consider Cordell & Cordell.
The attorneys at Cordell & Cordell work to help men maximize their role in their children's lives. Call the domestic litigation firm of Cordell & Cordell to schedule an appointment with one of our firm's attorneys, a partner men can count on. 314-725-0000, 725 all zeros, or visit online at CordellCordell.com. Offices in St. Louis, St. Charles, Jefferson County, Edwardsville, and Belleville.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
There are many places to get an MBA in St. Louis, but only one public business school carries AACSB accreditations in both business and accounting, the Business School at the University of Missouri St. Louis. This is Thomas Eisel, Associate Dean and Director of Graduate Business Programs at UMSL. Depending on the MBA program you choose, you can take classes online, in West County, at night, or on the weekends. You decide what works best with your busy schedule. An UMSL MBA is both respected and affordable because we are the only public research university in St. Louis, and our faculty are nationally known scholars who do top-notch research and are engaged with the business community. The UMSL MBA, highest accreditation, greatest affordability. Now that's a good business decision. Reserve a seat at an upcoming information session. Log on to mba.umsl.edu. That's mba.umsl.edu.
Power, performance, style, and a commitment to be the best. Jaguar St. Louis knows what it takes to be a winning team. Come out today and test drive the all-new F-Pace, recently named the 2017 World Car of the Year at the New York International Auto Show. Plus, all new Jaguar models are backed by Jaguar Elite Care, our best-in-class coverage. Jaguar St. Louis, a Plaza Motor Company, on Olive Boulevard and JaguarSt.Louis.com. Class is cars sold by luxury automobile brands, and claim is based on total package of warranty, maintenance, and other coverage programs.
Your seriously ill patients return again and again for high acuity care in the ED or hospital setting when symptoms aren't managed correctly. Vitas Healthcare offers palliative alternatives to aggressive treatment as we transition those hospice-eligible patients to comfort care at home. From inpatient hospice beds to continuous care at home, Vitas has the resources to care for your most complex patients. Refer today. Don't delay. Call 888-VITAS-80 or go to Vitas.com. That's VITAS.com.
The news of the day.
I strongly urge the committee and the Senate to confirm Chris Frey as director of the Federal Bureau of Investigation.
Every day.
Donald Trump Jr. In retrospect, I probably would have done things a little differently.
Moving into perjury, false statements, potentially treason.
St. Louis's FM News Talk.
We will be in session the first 2 weeks of August.
FM News Talk 97.1.
I wouldn't want to go home and face the voters either.
We should be here doing the people's business.
Younger, smarter, better.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Welcome into the Annie Frey Show. Hope you're enjoying your beautiful Saturday afternoon, evening. We have a special guest in studio today. You probably know her more than you know me. Katie Bailey.
Hello, Annie. Thanks for having me on.
From Almond in the Morning is in studio with us as Frank is touring Europe. So he had something better to do. And
lucky.
Yeah, good for him.
Mm-hmm.
So Katie's in studio with me for the next couple hours. Appreciate you spending some time with us. If you want to weigh in during the show at all, give us a call at 314-969-9797 or 866-455-9797. A lot going on in the news today. We have some exciting news out of Michigan. Did you hear this? So Debbie Stabenow is a senator who is up for re-election in Michigan this year in 2018. And if you're not familiar with the makeup of the 2018 elections, as far as the Senate goes, it's huge. It's absolutely huge. So 34 senators, always a third of the Senate is up for re-election because they serve 6-year terms. 34 senators up for election in 2018. That's not news. But 25 of those senators are Democrats. 25 of the 34 Senate elections in 2018 are Democrats trying to retain their seats. 25 of 34. I think that is a huge, huge number. Now, let's make it even more interesting. 10 of those 25 Senate seats, 10 of them are Democrats who are running and fighting for their seats in Trump states. So their Senate seats are their presidential red states in 2016, and in 2018 they have senators who are fighting for basically to retain their seats. One of those states happens to be Missouri. You've heard a lot of conversation over the course of the last week or two about who's going to fill that spot now that Ann Wagner has pulled her name off of the list, and there's lots of people who are vying for it. I know that Jamie Ullman has been one of the people who's been the most on top of that conversation constantly with his radio show and his talk show on television, trying to figure out who's going to try to challenge Claire McCaskill in that Missouri Senate seat. It's a really interesting proposition. There's a lot of people's names out there, but Tim Jones, who has a show on Sunday nights, 7 to 9 now here on 97.1, Tim Jones suggested, I think he was on the Glover show when he suggested this, that Claire McCaskill might not even run. And they asked her, why would she not run? And he said, because she won't want to lose. She doesn't want her legacy in the Senate to end up with her losing an election to what would be, from the looks of it, a newcomer. So in Michigan, Debbie Stabenow is the Democratic representative for the seat that's up in 2018 for the Senate. Kid Rock, of all people, out of Detroit, Michigan, has said, yeah, I'd like to throw my hat in that ring. So
I love it.
Yeah, right? So lots of debate out there right now as to whether that's legit. He says the answer is an absolute yes. So let's see here. Kid Rock has confirmed he will be running for the U.S. Senate in Michigan. This is, I think, probably close to developing a developing story at any given time. I wouldn't be terribly surprised if he came out and was like, oh, no, I meant going on tour. I meant tour. I'm sorry. There was so much whiskey, and I meant tour.
A little bit of gin involved. I'm sorry about that.
But really, in the world that we live in right now, Kid Rock, is he an embarrassment to the Senate? Or would you like somebody who's like Kid Rock serving in the Senate over a Debbie Stabenow? Would you like to see somebody who is no nonsense, doesn't have political experience, is very fiscally conservative, is pretty non-existent on the social issues, serving in our government? Because you elected one president. So clearly that doesn't bother you too much. And if you can stomach it for president, why would you not stomach it for the Senate? If that's what it takes to get a seat that was blue turned red. So it says here, and this was reported on July 12th, so hopefully this is still the current situation, as I believe it is as I was looking at it on my way in here. Fox News reports Rock made the announcement via Twitter stating, I have had a ton of emails and texts asking me if this website is for real. KidRockForSenate.com. The answer is an absolute yes. But it says, is the website well, yeah, the website is real. The answer is yes. I don't know. I'm very skeptical.
Yes, yeah. I mean, it's kind of one of those things that it's a little bit hard to believe. It's kind of like when the Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson said he was running for president. You're like, wait, is he though?
We're going to have The Rock and Kid Rock running in 2018 and 2020. It's a lot of rocks.
Lots of rocks getting thrown around.
Yeah. Yeah, so on his Twitter, if you are not offended by coarse language, he's got a tweet out that says, due to overwhelming demand, this is from December of 2016, we decided to go ahead and actually make this and other current event merchandise. And he's got a map of the United States, and it's got the red states and the blue states, and there's this big blue blob in the middle of the country, which is my home state of Illinois, and it's embarrassing. And it says, The red stuff is the United States of America, and the blue is something I'm not allowed to say, according to the FCC on the radio. But you can check that tweet out on his Twitter. I don't know. I think it's an interesting proposition. I mean, Al Franken, when he ran, did anyone think he's in the Senate?
Right.
He's Stuart Smalley, and he's in the Senate.
He was
gosh
an
darn
SNL
it,
writer
people
and-
like me, Stuart Smalley in the Senate, and nobody took him seriously, and he's still there. So, why not? If you want to weigh in, 314-969-9797, 866-455-9797. Steve, thanks for calling the show.
Not a problem. Hey, I think the Senate is an embarrassment to the Senate, and Kid Rock could not be anywhere. So at least I know what I get with him.
Sure.
These other guys, which ways the wind blow. I mean, we already saw how they really felt about health care once it came down to it, and they said they wanted to repeal it. So, I mean, I could be wrong, but I think maybe what comes out of his mouth might be the truth.
So do you think, does a person's lifestyle choices, like how they live their life and the unvarnished Kid Rock, lifestyle, which I think only Kid Rock is he's such a rock star, does that bother you at all? Does that take away from what we would like to restore the Senate to? Or do you just want to see a shift into some reality in the Senate, away from all of the politics and all of the, here's what we're telling you in front of the cameras, but here's what we're really doing behind closed doors?
I think it's the latter. I mean, don't get me wrong. It would be great with the Senate, with all its decorum and this and that. But in reality, I'm so sick of their BS. I just don't believe anything they say. So yeah, I guess it's the breath of fresh air. I mean, I think that's what it was with Trump. Is like, man, somebody's finally saying something, and I think they actually mean what they say.
Yeah. I agree with you. Thanks for calling the show, Steve. We appreciate you. Bye. I think he's right. It's not necessary. We are living in a world of politics where you expect somebody to say everything that you want to hear. And these politicians aren't dumb, because every time they get your vote and they collect enough of them, they've extended their career for 2 more years or 6 more years or 4 more years, depending on the actual position. So it's no longer about saying what you stand for. It's about saying what people want to hear and figuring out how to position yourself, how to position your words, how to do everything that you need to do in order to acquire those votes, which is why, think about how progressives, how the left goes out and gets votes. They campaign, they hand out entitlements like candy at a parade. Here's some money here for this, and here's some money here, and here's some forgiveness for this here. It's raining taxpayer dollars on people. They don't include in the message the part where they have to get the tax dollars, the part where they have to take the money in order to give the money. So there's quite a bit of a difference there as to what they will tell you in an election season, in a campaign, and what they will end up actually having to do in order to enact that. I am from Illinois. I talk about Illinois, and it's because it's my home. And there's been so much going on right now. I always look at Missouri, and here you are going to take a Senate seat from the Democrats, and you've got your Republican governor, and you've got, you're a Trump state, and you're just red. And over in Missouri or in Illinois, we're just bleeding from our blue state. We're bleeding tax dollars. There's never enough money that can go around. I had the unfortunate experience today. My husband was driving my baby girl to the doctor and had to swerve to miss an animal, popped 2 tires on the curb. Didn't scratch up the car. Everybody was okay. Didn't hit the deer. Didn't hit anything else but 2 blown tires, which is not cheap. Not cheap. And so it's my car. It's my non-baby baby. It's
a version of some kind of baby.
Yeah. That car does not keep me up at night. However, the other babies, but I love them, and I was happy that they were safe. So we're at the tire place, and we're trying to find a place that has the tires in stock so that I can get them replaced, so that I can get to work today, hopefully, or Monday when I got to go back. And the only place we could only find one place that actually had the tires in stock. And I'm standing there, and I'm talking to the guy who's going off the things that they definitely have to do. Obviously, there are holes in the tire. We're not going to replace those. We're going to repair those. We're going to have to replace them. And I said, okay, so what kind of charges are we looking here? And he starts listing off the charges. He goes, and then there's the tire tax. I go, wait, the what? And he goes, the Illinois tire tax. I was like, tell me about the Illinois tire tax. So he's standing there telling me with disgust in his voice, which I appreciated.
Right.
He's like, Illinois, we got to be special about this, which is if you're a Missourian and you're watching the train slowly wreck on the other side of the river, the people over there, the majority of them, it doesn't matter if you're a Union Democrat family or if you're a dyed-in-the-wool, whatever you would stereotype the conservative family to be, highly religious and very social issue-oriented, very strong conservative, everybody is ticked. Everyone is ticked. And it's because they nickel and dime you before you even talk, before you even get to the place where you have an income tax increase. They're bleeding dollars out of your wallet left and right. And one of them happens to be a tire tax. And it says, I'm looking up on revenue.state.illinois.us, if you sell and deliver tires at retail in Illinois, you must be required to collect and pay us the Illinois tire user fee. The tire user fee is imposed at the rate of $2.50 per tire. So you put 4 new tires on your car, and you got to pay an extra $10 to the state of Illinois. That doesn't have anything to do with the sales tax that you're paying on the tires to purchase the tires. That's different. It doesn't have anything to do with any type of TIF taxes that you might have to pay because you bought the tires in a certain district in town. It doesn't have anything to do with the income taxes that you had to pay to put the money in your checking account that you worked hard for in order to make it so that you can actually pay for things. It doesn't have to do with any of that. Oh, and by the way, did you know that the state of Illinois in their budget raised the gas tax? You're going to pay more for your gas now. Gas is already a lot more expensive on the Illinois side than it is on the Missouri side. There's all these things, and they all bubble up, and and then they make life unsustainable over there. I didn't even mention the property taxes, which are the highest in the country. So you have all of these things that are mounting up and mounting up and mounting up. And it's government's way, when they come out in a campaign, in an election, it's government's way of helping you. They want to help you. We're not taking that money from you just to be mean ogres. We want to fix the roads. We want you to drive on beautiful roads, and we want to make sure that everything is prim and proper for you. We want to help you, and we want to help the people who really need it. And the only way we can do that is if we raise your taxes. Well, false. You're trying to feed me. You're trying to put food on my table with the money you take out of my wallet. Well, guess what? I can put the food on the table myself with the money that I earn, when I don't have to take $1 home from my paycheck and pay a tax here, pay a tax there, pay a tax everywhere. And then by the end, when I could feed my family with that $1 on my own, or whatever portion of it is an appropriate amount, now I have change. It's everywhere. And then the federal government is very similar to the state of Illinois on a much larger scale. There is this understanding with politicians who go out there and blow smoke. They tell you what you want to hear. They make sure that you feel good and warm and fuzzy inside about what they say that they're going to do for you. And then you vote for them. Well, you probably don't vote for them, but people vote for them, and they get in, and then they want to raise your taxes, and they want to take all of your money to make all these things happen. And everyone's going, but wait, that's not right. Does it sound like healthcare? Isn't that what the Obamacare situation turned out to be? We're going to, we want everyone to have healthcare. Well, I want everyone to have $1 million, but you got to get it from somewhere in order to give it somewhere. And then when it turns out that the Affordable Care Act is unaffordable for Americans, and when you actually are participating in it, if you actually had, if you had insurance before, and now you're dealing with the Obamacare situation, your premiums are higher, your deductible is higher, and your coverage is lower. It's not a good system, and it's all a step towards single payer, which is what Hillary Clinton wanted to do when Bill Clinton was in office. This isn't new to Obamacare. Hillary wanted to do it as the first lady. Good gracious, we're lucky that she didn't get elected. We're going to talk to somebody who knows a little bit about healthcare, Dr. Randy Tobler, joining the Annie Frey Show for the first time. I'm super excited about this. And the reason why he's joining us is to talk a little bit about healthcare and this poor baby in Europe named Charlie Gard. Dr. Tobler is an OBGYN and I think he's the CEO of the hospital he works at. He's the boss man when it comes to all things healthcare, conservative babies. He's the guy we're going to talk to coming up next. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a second.
Fueling up on cocaine and whiskey. Wish I had a good girl to miss me.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Lord, I wonder if I'll ever change my ways.
Watch the Mark Cox Show live on the Granite Transformation Studio Cam at 971talk.com/Cox. Log on to our website or use your mobile device to join the daily live stream and watch the show. It's the Granite Transformation Studio Cam at 971talk.com/Cox.
You can make a difference in the lives of patients and guests as a volunteer at Missouri Baptist Medical Center. Volunteer opportunities are flexible to fit your interest and schedule. Join MoBAP by attending a volunteer open house Saturday, July 22nd from 9 till 11 a.m. Take a tour of the hospital, talk to current team members, and see why volunteers play such an important role in helping Missouri Baptist provide truly compassionate care. To learn more, visit MissouriBaptist.org/volunteer.
When Dad needed help getting around, I became his driver. Any daughter would do the same. But soon enough, he needed help doing more things, and it was up to me to be his personal shopper and financial manager, too. And before I knew it, Dad moved in with me, so I became his cook, his personal assistant, his physical therapist, and even his nurse. When I started taking care of Dad, I didn't realize all the roles I'd have to play. But no matter what, I know I'm still his daughter.
We understand the many roles you play, and to help, we created an online caregiving resource center. At aarp.org/caregiving, you can find resources and connect with the caregiving community. Together, we can better care for ourselves and the ones we love. Visit aarp.org/caregiving to learn more. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
A ranger station.
I'd like to report a bear hug.
Okay.
I put out my campfire and Smokey Bear hugged me.
So you drowned the fire, you stirred it, drowned it again, and felt that it was cold?
Uh-huh.
Yep, he's just letting you know you did good.
Bear hug from Smokey Bear. Status update.
I'm gonna let you go now. There are many ways to start a fire, but one sure way to put it out. Learn how you can do your part at SmokeyBear.com.
Sponsored by the U.S. Forest Service, Ad Council, and your state forester.
My name is Ruth Rusi. I'm a retired teacher. I'm 91 years old, and this is how I live united. I say retired, but not really. Once a week, I read books to children as part of United Way's education program. Reading to a child creates links between language and literacy. It creates a bond between grown-up and child. And believe it or not, it prepares them for a better academic future. Oh, we read about frogs and flies and pigs with wings, all sorts of juicy stuff. It's a joy to watch all those little faces. I figure I have the time and they have the need. And I've always believed that if we're not here to help each other, then what are we here for really? My name is Ruth Rusi. I help kids prepare to succeed in school. So I don't just wear the shirt, I live it.
Give, advocate, volunteer, live united. Go to liveunited.org. Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
A ranger station.
I'd like to report a bear hug.
Okay.
I put out my campfire and Smokey Bear hugged me.
So you drowned the fire, you stirred it, drowned it again, and felt that it was cold?
Uh-huh.
Yep, he's just letting you know you did good.
Bear hug from Smokey Bear. Status update.
I'm gonna let you go now. There are many ways to start a fire, but one sure way to put it out. Learn how you can do your part at SmokeyBear.com.
Sponsored by the U.S. Forest Service, Ad Council, and your state forester.
Hey, Russell Wilson here, and I know how important exercise is.
It's essential. It's essential.
With Play 60, United Way and the NFL are helping kids stay active and play at least 60 minutes a day.
Healthy kids. Healthy kids.
But what this place needs is you. To donate or volunteer, go to unitedway.org/play60 because great things happen when we live united.
Donate, donate.
Are you guys going to do that every time?
Yes, of course. Yes, of course.
Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
trending on FM News Talk 97.1.
Most people would have taken that meeting. The lawyer passport was approved by Attorney General Lynch.
Stay connected.
Promise to repeal Obamacare.
Finish the health care bill. Lipstick on a pig. It's cosmetic changes.
Obamacare is total meltdown.
Keeps most of the Obamacare regulations. I'm just not for that.
This is
Mr. DiNardo confessed in the murders of the 4 young men.
FM News Talk 97.1.
It was 1989, my thoughts were short, my hair was long. Caught somewhere between a boy and man.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Far from in between, it was summertime in northern Michigan.
Welcome back into the Annie Frey Show. Good to be with you. Follow us on Twitter at Annie Frey Show. You can tweet me during the show, during the week. Whenever you want to, you can tweet me because that's how Twitter works, at Annie Frey Show. Also, if you want to go to Facebook.com/Annie Frey Show, you can give us a like there. We post stuff throughout the week, just funny stuff, serious stuff, news stuff, anything you want to find that has to do with the show is there. And then also go to 971talk.com/Annie. We have podcasts there, the blog, everything, Annie Frey Show. And you can also stream the station at 971talk.com and listen to all of our shows anytime you want, including the Randy Tobler Show, which is 6 a.m. to 10 a.m., and we welcome Dr. Tobler into the Annie Frey Show right now for the first time. Very excited to have you on. Dr. Tobler, thanks for joining us.
Hey, it is my pleasure. Boy, you're doing a fabulous job. I love listening to your program after I get done with mine in the morning and then take a little nap, and then, boy, that's great.
Catch up
I
on
enjoy
some
an
sleep.
adult beverage and listen to Annie. It doesn't get better than that.
That's what most people do. They have to drink to listen. No, I'm kidding.
No, it's nice.
Relaxing.
No, it's the one day of the week I get to relax.
Yes.
I get to relax, and it's great.
Well,
so.
you're a very
Hey,
busy...
you do a fabulous job on the website. I don't know if many people know, but you're responsible for the 971talk.com website, and it is award-winning and fabulous. So
Thank you very
kudos
much.
to you.
Thank you. Yeah, it keeps me busy and it puts food on the table. And like I said earlier in the last segment, that Illinois tries to take off of the table so that they can provide food for me. So we want
hard to believe that Illinois is not going to look something like Thunderdome, the empty planet here in a few years, isn't it?
Yeah, just stand by. Buy your front row seats now. Here in Missouri, you'll definitely be able to be in the front row of the exodus that continues to happen in the state of Illinois. Well, speaking of government overreach, there's a baby in Europe named Charlie Gard, 11-month-old, has a deemed terminal illness. I was wondering if you can kind of set the table of how Charlie Gard, if Charlie Gard was my baby, I have a Charlie, if my Charlie was experiencing this and I was seeing doctors here in the United States outside of the universal healthcare system, how does that process flow in the United States versus the way Europe is handling it, where judges and lawyers and everything are all involved right now?
Yeah, the United States, it often depends on if you're connected to a medical center. When you have a disease that is reportedly happened in only 16 reported cases in the world. Mm-hmm. And this is a rare disease where the mitochondria, that is the powerhouses of our cells, the little cell within a cell, if you will, that help make the energy for our cells to do what they do, become depleted because there's a problem with the DNA. Did you know mitochondria have their own DNA? You know, the alphabet of life. We have, of course, our DNA that tells us if we're going to have blue hair or blonde hair, blue eyes or blonde hair, or in my case, no hair. And then there's DNA in the mitochondria, and they direct, their sole function really is to direct the production of power. And they convert oxygen, the energy in oxygen, into power through ATP. We learned that in biology in what, 10th grade, 8th grade?
Yeah, I remember all of those words.
Yeah. And so in this disease, and there's a host of them like this, but this is extremely rare. Like I said, 16 in the world.
Yeah.
There's a mutation, and each parent is a carrier, but it's a recessive gene, which means they don't express it. But when two carriers of this rare gene get together, 1 in 4 of their offspring will be affected by this disease. So, these parents didn't know they had that mutation, but they did, and he's got the problem. Well, long and short of it is, when you have a problem with making and duplicating the DNA in your mitochondria, they become depleted, And that's why it's called mitochondrial depletion syndrome. And you purely don't have energy. It's just really a lack of energy. And so those tissues that require the most energy are the ones that suffer the first and the most severe damage. And that is, of course, the brain and heart and kidneys and liver and respiratory function. And usually these babies don't live beyond infancy.
Mm-hmm.
The sad part about this case is that there's been a lot of damage done already. What happens when we stop breathing for as much as 5 minutes, right?
Yeah.
We die. And so if this baby has not had energy to the brain, there's severe brain damage. The doctors know that. He has epilepsy. He can't breathe on his own. His eyelids apparently can't move because of muscle weakness, so which means his eyes won't develop. So what the hope here, to be realistic about it, is that they might arrest the process potentially with this what's called nucleoside bypass therapy. What that means is the enzyme just prevents the production of the building blocks of the mitochondrial DNA. So what the doctor is doing that is going to evaluate the baby, and he's done this in one case of similar.
This is
but
the
not
doctor from
same
New York
mutation.
that's going there?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And he's going to go over there and examine the baby. And he's treated one other similar problem, but a different mutation. His name is Michio Hirano, and from Colombia. And he's going to go over and look at the baby. And so he only reported this in mice in 2014. So, I mean, this is way... The curve of bringing this to any human being from a mouse experiment just 3 years ago is unheard of. And frankly, it's astounding. And I think it's gratifying that there's a push to try it. But we have to be realistic about the outcome. There's already been severe damage, and so we'd be trying to arrest the process by replacing the building blocks that the boy can't make, and therefore he can't replace and reproduce DNA and repair DNA. And so it's not going to be a good situation in any event. That said, there's a child who he's treated that has, like I said, a similar disease due to a different mutation. That child, of course, was a little older when the problem started occurring, so they were able to diagnose it before there was as severe damage, and it's reported that the child walks with braces and can utter a few words. But again, this little infant, 11 months old, is way down the road in terms of damage to multiple organs. So it'll be interesting to see what Dr. Hirano thinks, whether in fact it is, it's really going to salvage anything at all. Now, the parents have raised almost $2 million from private sources, and this is where I scratch my head. It's like, if you want to try this, and if you have a realistic appraisal of what's going to happen, and you want to do this, I guess as long as the government doesn't pay for it, I guess I'm all right with it. To be frank with you, I think if it were my baby, I don't know whether I would want to prolong life, because this is, and again, that's the fundamentalist Christian viewpoint. There's an alternative, an equally valid Christian viewpoint that is probably a more Western Orthodox viewpoint that says, do whatever you can to prolong life at any cost and at any quality as long as you can. The problem is, I sense that this baby is so far down the tubes, if you will, that I just don't know what's going to be salvaged here.
Well, I think...
But again, life is life, and if that is meaningful to these parents, and if there's evidence that this child isn't suffering pain, and again, that's a speculation that both the European court, and the British court said. That's the rub, and of course they've said that he's going to suffer pain. I'm not sure that he can with such severe brain damage.
I think that the words that you said that are so important in this discussion, I don't know that anybody who's fighting on behalf of Charlie Gard and his parents and their ability to use Western medicine, American medicine to treat him. You said, if he were my son, and that is the pivotal point of this conversation, where you are putting yourself in the position of Charlie's parents, and you're making an educated decision based on information that you feel is best for your son. That's not really the case right now in Europe and with Charlie Gard, because there's a lot of people that have a precedence over the parents and what the parents want to do with their child, and have had that precedence throughout the course of the 11 months that the baby has been alive. What's the difference between this healthcare system that they have in Europe and that Charlie's parents are fighting against versus what we currently have here in the United States?
we actually have a flavor of it. We have a little tincture of that, and it's going to get more pervasive as government is increasingly responsible for the payment and therefore the regulation of our health care. Currently about 60 cents out of every healthcare dollar is funded by taxpayer/government. In the UK, of course, everything is funded. There is a second tier if you want better access, quicker access, perhaps the premium, care, if you will. People pay out of their pockets. But everyone, no matter what their means, gets care in Britain. And this, we talked about this morning, and I know you talk about it in one form or another. I think all of us who are in the conservative camp talk about the treachery that a populace and individuals in that populace run when they, what they risk when they trade security, in this case health security, for liberty. When someone else is paying your bill, it actually makes sense that at some point they how that's going to be run. In my book, I mean, if I delegate and expect my parents to pay for my education, well, I guess I can't decide to live in a 5-story mansion with a flat screen in every room, right?
Yeah, it's a really
good
analogy.
Similarly, I think that's what the Europeans have done. They have subordinated their independence in healthcare decisions and traded that essentially for, quote, big air finger quotes here, free care. I choose not to do that.
So you're a medical provider. You deal with the business side of medicine as well as the practicing side of medicine. What have you seen in your time since Obamacare has been initiated, I guess 7 years now, and with this major conversation that's going on in Congress right now, what are you hoping to see? Do you want that full repeal? Do you want to go back to where we were before that? Or do you think that would be too harmful to the people who have, those folks who have benefited from Obamacare, although it might not be the majority?
Well, look, I think that the big missing part of the discussion in all of this is that with an improving economy, you're going to have many people who needed help, and whether that's Medicaid, whether it's Obamacare, or in my book, that would be community charity and not government charity. But I guess maybe that's my idealism speaking through there. But the truth is that, these numbers that you hear about people falling off the rolls, remember that of the 45 million people that didn't have health care pre-Obamacare, at least 15 million, probably upwards of 20 million, were young, healthy people who chose not to buy insurance. Now, many of the people, when they're not mandated to, will go back to that realm. I, along with Michael Cannon at Cato and others, think, though, that if we were able to decrease regulations, which Trump has promised to do through Tom Price, Secretary Price, at HHS, and if we're able to allow insurance companies to sell stripped down products so that maybe a young, healthy Annie Frey and her young, healthy family who just probably need coverage for things like trauma and cancer and those big bad things, you're not going to likely have to pay for chronic respiratory illness or heart failure or those kind of illnesses. You should be able to, and should really sort of think it through in my world, to where you could buy a relatively affordable policy that would cover the major things that are going to go wrong in your life. And that money, because you're likely not going to have those statistically, that would put you in a pool that then could help fund more affordable premiums for everyone. The other components that are up the road, and the Republicans haven't communicated well and can't be done through reconciliation, is the ability of, let's say, the plumbers of America to get together, and the independent plumbing contractors and the independent heating and cooling contractors and the independent asphalt contractors to get together in big group purchasing arrangements, and again bring the insurance company to their knee with the power of more lives that they can deliver to them. So you can see how if whatever they do leads more to a free market, where a free market mentality, I think you're going to see a decrease in premiums. You're going to see overall more affordable care and better access. As Jesus said, there will always be the poor, no matter what you do, Annie. There will always be the uninsured, and that's where benevolence and just good ethics take care of people. And I think that we can plug those gaps if most people are prudent and buy insurance that's affordable for them, which I think we could be heading to. I'm just afraid that we're going to end up with something that is just some lipstick on the pig that is Obamacare.
Yeah, you mentioned free market principles. if when I look at Obamacare, and I understand a fraction of it compared to what you have to deal with in your non-radio show life, in your saving lives and delivering lives life, you talk about the free market. All Obamacare did, from my estimation, is deliver customers to businesses, where the free market is supposed to deliver businesses to customers. It's supposed to make the business of insurance companies say, how do we get as many customers as possible? How do we move our business practices in a way that makes people want to come here? And then when you have, insurance company A doing that, insurance company B goes, hey, look what they're doing. We need to, compete against that. We're going to offer this. And so the customer sits there and watches this free market process unfold in front of them, and then they pick what's best for them. Well, President Obama said everybody has to have insurance. So the insurance companies are like, well, since you have to have it, and then they create all these stipulations where it's this pool of people paying in for things that they don't need. You've got 65-year-old retirees who now can't afford the premiums for their insurance, and then if, God forbid, something does happen to them, they can't afford the deductible to use the insurance that they couldn't afford in the first place, but they have to have because the president said so.
Look, there's no reason for, as I said, most healthy people that don't have a problem currently to spend gobs of insurance premiums for prepaid care. I think that when we've defined insurance as really prepaid medical care, that's a problem. When people have come to expect that every sore throat, every UTI, every rash has to be paid by an insurance company, well, someone else is paying the bills. And I don't know about you, Annie, but if you and I are going to dinner to discuss the show tonight, and our boss says, hey, don't worry about it, we'll offer whatever you get, whatever you want, I'm paying the bill.
Yeah.
What do you think we're going to order, right? If you and I are paying the bill,
not the side salad.
It might be a little bit different, right? And so I think, to put it in one simple statement, when the government starts distorting natural markets, that's the problem. Look, if the government were to say, Annie, that we had to buy insurance that would cover the replacement of wiper blades and batteries and tires and oil changes for our car, and that had to be covered by State Farm and, Progressive and Geico, don't you think that our insurance would be a heck of a lot more expensive?
Sure.
Of course it would. Insurance is there to cover hail damage, you hit a deer, you have a fender bender, or God forbid you total your car, right?
Yeah.
Or you hurt someone. And we don't think of insurance that way in healthcare. And so when you and I go and buy batteries and we buy the things that we have to pay for, those what I call the small ticket items, those are incredibly more cheaper than if the vendor knew that the insurance company had to pay for it, because that's going to trickle down to you in higher premiums. And that principle is something that I'm sad to say is not being applied to medicine. It needs to be applied to healthcare.
You're right. Well, we're speaking with Dr. Randy Tobler. He's on the Randy Tobler Show and is a practicing doctor. Do you mind holding on to us for a quick break here? We got a phone call for you I'd like to take. Okay, well, hold on. Stay tuned.
Absolutely.
More with Dr. Tobler coming up right after this break. You can tweet us at Annie Frey Show if you have any questions as well. We'll be back in just a minute.
We didn't have no internet, but man, I never will forget the way
This is the Annie Frey Show.
In touch.
Promise to repeal Obamacare.
Finish the health care bill.
And up to date.
Lipstick on a pig. It's cosmetic changes.
Obamacare's total meltdown.
St. Louis's FM News Talk.
Keeps most of the Obamacare regulations.
FM News Talk 97.1.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at Harry's Shaving Supplies. Thanks to so many of you out there, hundreds of you, from the DGS alone who have gone to harrys.com and you've used the promo code and you've used the special backdoor option and you've gotten a great deal. And now Harry's is your go-to for shaving supplies. I found them about 3 years ago, reading a gentleman's magazine, thought it was cool. It spoke to the inner nerd in me, the craftsmanship, and I just love the fact you could get much better shaving supplies for a lot less money. They're so confident you're going to love the shaving supplies that they're offering you the starter set for free. All you do is cover a few bucks in shipping, shipped straight to your house. You're going to love it. You're going to get everything that you need for a month's worth of shaving. And then if you like it, you go back and you do it again. Simply visit harrys.com/DGS. That's harrys.com/DGS for a free starter set. You cover the shipping. harrys.com/DGS.
Do you suffer with chronic sinus infections? Do you have difficulty breathing through your nose? You may have sinus pressure and pain, sinus headaches. You use antibiotics and nasal sprays all the time, and it just keeps coming back. You're tired of the suffering. and you may not know you don't have to live this way. You may be a candidate for a minimally invasive procedure done in the office of the St. Louis Sinus Center, called balloon sinus dilation. Imagine no more sinus pain and being able to breathe clearly through your nose. Call and set an appointment today with Dr. James Gould at the St. Louis Sinus Center and find out if balloon sinus dilation is right for you. Call 314-449-8761. 314-449-8761. That's 314-449-8761.
Jamie Allman in the morning.
Monday, all the craziness from around the weekend. We've got Jimmy Hoff, the Gateway pundit, Rod the Bod, Rob Reigns on sports, and our Nickelback ticket giveaway, yo.
On FM News Talk
97.1.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Welcome back into the Annie Frey Show. We're listening to all Senator Robert Ritchie music today, which is apparently Kid Rock's real name.
What?
Yeah, I knew that his birth name was not Kid Rock.
Right? But I just didn't think it was Robert.
Yeah, it's like Robert Ritchie. Dr. Tolber, would you support Kid Rock for Senate over Debbie Stabenow?
I'm having a hard time with that one, Annie. I'm sorry.
That's okay. I think most America would, but again,
you never know.
You have to look at the alternative.
But I don't know his positions. Hey, I mean, anything's better than Pelosi and Schumer. So,
yeah.
You know.
He's very fiscally conservative, and I think that the rest of it is very libertarian. I'll put it that way.
Well, maybe I could go with that.
Sure.
I don't know.
I don't think you have to listen to his music in order to vote for him.
No. If that's part of going to it. If I have to go to his rallies and take in the music, I can't do that.
He's having it's an actual event in Nashville, and it's a fish fry. It's the Kid Rock fish fry, and I had just heard about this because one of our coworkers is attending, and I was like, oh really? All right,
wow.
That sounds great. I hope you remember it. You spend all that money to go, and I hope that you remember everything that happened.
A fish fry.
Fish fry. Okay.
We've been talking about health care and the current state of affairs that we have here in the United States compared to the universal health care system in Europe, and how the government is part of the decision that goes along with how you handle your medical care. Joe is on the line now, and Joe has a statement about the current situation of in Congress right now. Joe, go ahead and you can talk to Dr. Tobler.
Hi, Annie. Hi, Dr. Tobler. I tried to get on your show this morning, but I ran out of time. Here's why I'm so upset. These guys in D.C. had 8 years to figure something out, and they came up with nothing. And what I heard on TV a couple of weeks ago, I can't remember which senator said it, was somebody asked him that question. You had 8 years to figure this out. You came up with nothing. And the answer this guy gave, I wanted to break my TV. The answer this guy gave was, well, we just didn't think that Trump was going to get elected.
Oh, that was the governor of Pennsylvania. Toomey.
I almost
Pat Toomey.
died. And I can't believe how stupid these people are, and they want my vote again. So I guess my question is, Dr. Tobler, do you think that some kind of health savings plan, like a 401k, but for your health insurance that we pay into and somebody else, the company pays some into, do you think that's the answer, or something like Rand Paul's? I like Rand Paul's idea, but nobody listened to him.
Well, Annie mentioned going back to where we were at by just a plain repeal of Obamacare. We were actually on a trajectory to inject more healthcare savings accounts, which are essentially 401ks that are dedicated to healthcare. When you turn a certain age, I think it's 65, 70, they turn into regular IRAs when you get Medicare. But that said, we were on a trajectory to that, and Bush was expanding those. And that is the biggest way to bend that cost curve down. And I know, for instance, the school district in my community has HSAs. Most of the young, healthy families there, with the teachers being, mostly young folks, have those, and they may have $4,000 or $5,000 deductibles. Well, they interact with my healthcare facility a lot different than the Medicare patient or the Medicaid patient. They ask, like, why are we going to do this test? What are you going to do with this test? Okay, we need this test. Can you lower the price for me on this test? You see, so that invokes the market that we were talking about, the fabulous, wonderful, objectively ruthless market. And, so the Senate bill does, and the House bill like it, does inject more healthcare savings account. Here's a novel idea, and Michael Cannon from Cato agrees with me. Instead of Medicaid writing me or a hospital or your doctor a check for your Medicaid care, if you're on Medicaid, or for that matter, a pre-existing god-awful, devastating medical condition care, why not just fund an HSA and let those people participate in the market and let them become part of that big bubbling market and let them then know that they've only got $5,000 or whatever it is that we're going to fund it with in that HSA. And it could probably be somewhere south of what we spend per capita on a Medicaid patient annually or Medicaid enrollee. Mm-hmm. And that way they would participate in the market, drive costs down. So, yeah, HSAs for everyone is my way I vote. Yep.
Yep. Joe, thank you for the call.
Okay, great. Thanks.
You know, Dr. Tolber, the HSA, I'm currently switching insurance situations in my house. I'm used to having I guess it's a PPO. Is that the opposite of the high deductible plan with the HSA?
Right. A PPO is where you just pay. It's traditional insurance. You have a copay and you have to go to a certain network of docs and hospitals.
Sure. So I'm looking at doing this high deductible plan where I can have an HSA. It's much more cost effective. It's just more responsibility on the individual's part to make sure that you are disciplined enough to save.
It's like the difference between buying whole life insurance or buying term and saving the difference. As long as you can put away some money to put in that HSA, and wise employers will fund part of that HSA rather than fund a large premium for you, and the premium, the medical premium cost of the HSA plans that are associated with an insurance plan are much cheaper. And that way, for a rainy day, you may have, by the time 2 years go by on a traditional plan, you may have blown $3,000-$4,000 up the chimney and never used a dime of it. Whereas on an HSA, you're pumping that into that savings account that's there for a rainy day, and then it's there when you need it.
And when employers offer that, the option to maybe go one or the other, or to give that high deductible plan, at least there's something to offer there. When you have the opportunity to take responsibility for yourself, and yes, that means that you have to maybe look at the monthly premium that you're paying with a high deductible plan that has that HSA, you can put a lot of money away and match the amount of money you would pay for your traditional health care coverage. You can put a lot of money away that you get to save, you get to keep, and you get to use. It rolls over. You get to continue to use it. It just relies on the responsibility of the individual, which is something that the government is. They want to put a safety net down for everybody. They want to take away everybody's opportunity to struggle, but it's a very expensive. Like you said, you're giving over your freedom for some security, and at the end of the day, you might not even be winning.
No, that's right. And I have to say, for those people who have chronic illnesses or who are frequently ill or have an inherited problem that they got congenitally, if you're part of a group plan, you're probably wise not to have an HSA in that sense, because you're going to be making a lot of expenditures, And so if you can get into a PPO plan as part of a group, that's great. Mm-hmm. And look, the brilliant part of both the House and the Senate bills are that if you are insured as a healthy person and then you get sick, they can't drop your coverage and you would be guaranteed issue. And I like that. And I think there should be some penalty for people who are guaranteed pre-existing condition coverage. Yeah, I can't call my agent when my house is burning and say, oh, yeah, by the way, I'd like to take out insurance. That was the tragic flaw. That was the fatal flaw in Obamacare. We have to fix it.
All right. Well, Dr. Randy Tobler of The Randy Tobler Show, Saturdays. Today, you were on 6 a.m. to 10 a.m., starting the morning off right here on 97.1. We appreciate all of your insight, and people can follow you on Twitter at Randy Tobler MD, and you do a great job here. We appreciate you. Thanks for coming on.
It was great being with the conservative, my maiden voyage with the conservative maven of 97.1.
That's a new one, and I like it. Thank you.
There you go. Hey, thanks, Annie. You do a great job.
Thank you. Talk to you soon. So, again, we get into the situation where you have a conservative principle and a progressive or a liberal principle, and the conservative one relies on individual responsibility, and the liberal one is to take away that individual responsibility for a small, during the election season, actually large price down the road. And if you're willing to take in that responsibility, you can save yourself some money. And the government doesn't have to take over for everybody and make everybody pitch in to pay for all of the necessities of those who don't. There are people we need to help in this world. There are people we need to help in this country. I'm all for helping them. You can help people without laundering your money through the government and tax dollars. We're going to be back with an Annie, Are You Okay? With Miss Katie Bailey. I'm pretty excited about this one. I think she's going to put some pressure on me. So she's telling me about stories. We're going to be back in just a minute. Stay tuned. More of the Annie Frey Show coming up.
Honey, it's time to leave for the game. Are you still in the basement? We're going to be late.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. I'm trying to clean up the water from last night's rain. These cracks in the basement walls aren't getting any better.
I told you to call Midwest Basement Tech. They fixed our neighbor's basement and it's been dry ever since. And Midwest Basement Tech even guarantees it.
Don't miss another second of your favorite game because of basement or crawl space problems. Call Midwest Basement Tech at 1-800-848-9805 or visit us on the web at midwestbasementtech.com for money-saving coupons. You don't have to live with leaks, cracks, and mold in your basement. We work year-round and our estimates are free. Does your home's foundation have bowed or cracked walls? This could be a sign of foundation failure. Call now for a free expert analysis of your home's foundation problems. Serving both sides of the river. Call us at 800-848-9805 for your local service tech or on the web at midwestbasementtech.com.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at Zero Res Carpet Cleaning. So for the past few months, I've been telling you all about Zero Res, and I'll be honest with you, I've been sort of fudging on how long you could go between cleanings. I know it was a pretty good amount of time, but I really didn't know how long it was. So I reached out to Michael, who is the CEO and founder of Zero Res, founded it back when he was in law school, actually, decided that the people in the carpet cleaning business weren't that good. They'd been in the business for a very long time, and he thought he could beat them, and he has. So he pointed out that the average person, not super crazy dirty, not super crazy clean, when you get your carpets Zero Res cleaned, you can bank on between a year and 18 months before you ever need to call them again. So with the DGS discount, 3 big rooms at just $129, that's pretty darn good. Call them at 314-474-2020 to make your appointment today, or go online at ZeroResSTL.com, 314-474-2020, ZeroResSTL.com.
We all know home inventory is low and demand is high, so you don't need to overpay because the market is not in your favor. At Vincent Mortgage, we have a better solution. Spruce up your existing home and make it the home of your dreams. It's very easy with a Vincent Home Equity Refinance. Just call 314-839-9999. That's 314-839-9999. Or chat live at vincentmortgage.com. NMLS number 225095, 12801 Flushing Meadows Drive, 63131.
Hi, this is Curtis Stone. You name a dish, and I've prepared it thousands of times. But even I can't cook enough to feed all of the 17 million kids in America who are struggling with hunger. That's where the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks comes in. They gather surplus food to give hope to hungry kids and their families. We call them food angels, and you can be one too. Earn your wings at feedingamerica.org.
A message from Feeding America and
KFTK FM, Florissant, KFTK AM, East St. Louis, K254CR, St. Louis.
Powered by thehomeloanexpert.com.
FM News Talk, 97.1.
The list keeps growing. I'm Jane Metzler, Fox News. On that list, Donald Trump Jr., his brother-in-law, Jared Kushner, then Trump campaign chair Paul Manafort, a Russian lawyer. They all attended a Trump Tower meeting a year ago in June, among others.
A Russian-American lobbyist, Rinat Akhmetshin, is telling the Associated Press he was there too. Akhmetshin served in the Soviet military for a couple of years in the 80s, but he says it was routine service and denies any involvement, past or present, in intelligence activities. And Trump Jr.'s attorney is telling Fox News another person, an American citizen, says he was at the meeting as well, bringing that total number to 8 people reportedly at this meeting.
Fox's Ellison Barber outside Trump Tower today.
Rise up!
Protests against the Trump administration underway there and around the country, showing support for the president. A group gathered outside Trump National Golf Club in New Jersey. The president there watching the U.S. Women's Open. It was a towering inferno, but unlike the movie, this deadly high-rise fire in Honolulu was all too real.
If the building in Honolulu had sprinklers, firefighters say the damage and loss of life would not have been nearly as extensive. The fire broke out around 2:15 in the afternoon, and almost immediately residents and witnesses could see fierce flames shooting out of the apartments on the 26th floor of the Marco Polo residential community.
That fire went so fast, you know, it was just amazing. And the smoke just everywhere.
2 women and 1 man were killed in the fire. 12 others were injured.
Fox's Will Carr, a federal judge in Hawaii, ruled the Trump administration overstepped when it determined which family members could enter the U.S. under its revised travel ban. The Justice Department appealing to the Supreme Court. Fox News, fair and balanced.
Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling. Weather with Dave Murray.
Plenty of sunshine, nice from start to finish. 89 for the high this afternoon. Low humidity tonight, gorgeous. What a wonderful evening on the way. Clear skies and nice 65 for the overnight low. Sunday, partly sunny skies, few more clouds around. Looking for a high near 90. The heat and humidity building back next week. I'm Fox 2 meteorologist Dave Murray for FM News Talk 97.1.
When it's time for hospice, patients shouldn't wait. Neither should you. Vitas Healthcare has technology that assures smooth, seamless transitions and customized patient care that is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Compassion-driven care for families in distress. Technology-driven solutions for healthcare professionals. Refer today. Don't delay. Call 888-VITAS-80 or go to vitas.com. That's VITAS.com. First licensed in 1980.
There are many places to get an MBA in St. Louis, but only one public business school carries AACSB accreditations in both business and accounting, the Business School at the University of Missouri St. Louis. This is Thomas Eisel, Associate Dean and Director of Graduate Business Programs at UMSL. Depending on the MBA program you choose, you can take classes online, in West County, at night, or on the weekends. You decide what works best with your busy schedule. An UMSL MBA is both respected and affordable because we are the only public research university in St. Louis, and our faculty are nationally known scholars who do top-notch research and are engaged with the business community. The UMSL MBA, highest accreditation, greatest affordability. Now that's a good business decision. Reserve a seat at an upcoming information session. Log on to mba.umsl.edu. That's mba.umsl.edu.
Power, performance, style, and a commitment to be the best. Jaguar St. Louis knows what it takes to be a winning team. Come out today and test drive the all-new F-Pace, recently named the 2017 World Car of the Year at the New York International Auto Show. Plus, all new Jaguar models are backed by Jaguar Elite Care, our best-in-class coverage. Jaguar St. Louis, a Plaza Motor Company, on Olive Boulevard and JaguarSt.Louis.com. Class is cars sold by luxury automobile brands, and claim is based on total package of warranty, maintenance, and other coverage programs.
The Dean's List with Janice Dean.
Tanisha Harris of Atlanta, Georgia makes the Dean's List for bravely getting back on her feet again for the first time in 18 months. And she's not just standing, she's walking with the help of braces and a positive attitude.
It feels good just to even stand up in them. It feels almost normal.
Tanisha's exercise doctor, Tony Davenport, is encouraged.
She's always a bright spirit. It's like, hey, what we doing today? What we doing today?
A 2015 hit-and-run accident changed the 26-year-old mother of two's life. Tanisha had suffered a devastating spinal cord injury. She was numb from the waist down. Last May, Tanisha joined Project Walk Atlanta, where they use intense activity or exercise to help their clients recover from spinal cord injury. 8 months later, she's seeing the progress of her hard work.
Everything I prayed for before, I'm seeing it now. Everything I visualized before, I'm seeing everything fold out. These braces, I don't plan to have them long.
Tanisha, you made the Dean's List. Janice Dean, Fox News.
The news that's now
Trump Care.
They've now taken the bill and made it worse.
I think this will unite every Republican.
Mitch has to pull it off. He's got to pull it off.
Concise and current.
During his hearing, Frey continued.
No one asked me for any kind of loyalty oath.
There's no question that he's qualified.
St. Louis's FM News Talk.
Donald Trump Jr.
Exceedingly troubling.
FM News Talk 97.1.
If you want to talk about having relationships with Russia, I'd look no further than the Clintons.
Younger, smarter, better.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
So
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Good to be with you. Follow us on Twitter at Annie Frey Show. I got a Twitter poll going right now, and the question is, Kid Rock for Senate? And your options are yes or no. So we would like to know what you think. Give us a vote there on Twitter. You can follow us at Annie Frey Show. Also, Facebook.com/Annie Frey Show, 971talk.com/Annie. So we talked in the first hour with Dr. Tobler about Charlie Gard, the sad situation over there, universal health care, and how it's been, a major factor in the decisions that have taken place regarding his care, and they trump the parents in this situation, and they've been doing so for some time, and the kid is terminal according to the doctors, and it's just a really sad situation. But there are lots of sad situations, and you would like to think that the parents would be the ones who get to make that decision for their child with the information provided to them by the doctors, right? That's what you would think. But no, in Europe, where you have universal health care, it's not just the parents' decision. It's the people who pay for the health care, which is the government. They pay for it. So since they are the ones footing the bill, they're the ones who get to make part of the decision, or the ultimate decision. So Dr. Tobler talked with that, and then also went into the healthcare system and what he thinks is the solution there. So if you missed that conversation, we would love for you to check out the podcast, 971talk.com/Annie, iTunes, Stitcher, wherever you get your podcast. You can check out that right there.
And now it's time to play Is Annie Okay With This?
All right, Annie, I got something good for you. Got something cooking up over here. This is from, let's see if we can do this.
That's right.
This is from Marie Claire magazine.
Or Mary Claire.
Or Mary Claire magazine. This is the great debate that just happened.
We can't decide.
We don't know yet. It is from Diane Stapera, and she recently wrote in an article for Marie Claire, condemning gender reveal parties titled, "Dear Parents to Be, Stop Celebrating Your Baby's Gender. Cutting into a pink or blue cake seems innocent enough, but honestly, it's not."
And I would assume that this is because you don't know that baby's gender until that baby tells you what their gender is.
She says it's a gender reveal party, and I know I'm sounding very condescending when I say this, but right when I read it, she says it's revealing people's anatomy, not really revealing their gender. She also says that we don't celebrate non-pregnancy related milestones with the same enthusiasm as we do when you're having a gender reveal party.
Who's we?
We, I'm guessing,
a we that I do not want to be a part of.
Right. We does not include me. I know that for sure. She says we're reinforcing the that women's values rest squarely in her ability to grow a tiny human. So that
right. Right?
That's
I mean,
a lot of
good
work.
for her. It is a lot of work. Done it several times. I am not okay with this, and I am okay with this. Let's go with the not okay part first, because that's probably more of what is of interest here. The fact that the baby is going to be born a boy or a girl is an important fact. And if you have it in your progressive, liberal, goofy mind that baby is going to decide at some point or another what gender it is and tell you, and then you're going to be like, oh, okay, congratulations, you've officially decided to be a boy. That's child abuse. You do not treat a child like this. This is not something that a child needs to ever think about. I am for parenting that child, raising that child the way that they are. I understand that some people come to a point in their life where they might be a little confused about things. But it is not our place to encourage that. It is not our place as parents to give over to a baby that cannot sustain itself, that cannot feed itself, this type of social warrior political statement. You're not doing that for the baby. You're saying that baby needs to discover this, that baby, you know what? The baby also needs to find out that you can't play in traffic.
Sure.
But you don't let them figure that out for themselves. You tell them, you smack their hands when they get close to the oven, and you keep them from touching the hot stove or whatever it is. Parents are there to keep the child between, or in the lane between the shoulder and the median. That is your job. You're supposed to encourage them to stay in their lane. And gender is not something that you need to put on their shoulders. It's just not. And for you, if you disagree with me, okay, that's fine. You can disagree with me. I don't care if you disagree with me. I don't care if you would want to argue with me until the sun goes down that I'm wrong on this. But you don't get to tell people to or to not have gender reveal parties. You just don't get to do that. Don't bring your social justice, warrior fighting, flag and top of the mountain stance into everybody else's lives and tell them how to live. You don't get to do that. And that's the mark of progressivism today. The left wants to tell you that they are the open-minded side of the aisle. They want to tell you that that the closed-minded religious right, which I know a lot of people who are conservative who would vote for Donald Trump who aren't really that religious. So we can stop saying that just because you vote Republican automatically insinuates that you do so based on a religious reason. There are lots of reasons to vote for Republicans that have nothing to do with religion. But the side that is closed-minded, the side that requires you to check off all of the boxes, that's the left. That's the Democratic platform. If you want to be a feminist, guess what you have to be? You have to be pro-abortion. Not pro-choice, pro-abortion. And we know this because we had a women's march where people who were pro-life, they were not allowed to participate. Simply on the fact that they were pro-life. They had a lot of other feminist ideals, but that whole, not wanting to kill babies thing, that's a deal breaker. Deal breaker for the feminists. And there's a laundry list of other things. There's the fact that the LGBTQ issue is a huge thing. The gender identity thing is a huge thing. Whatever happened to living and let living? Whatever happened to the idea of not pushing your thoughts, your beliefs into somebody else's life and requiring them to subscribe to your thoughts and on any given issue? A gender reveal party, is that offensive to you? You have a very simple life. If you are spending even an ounce of time worrying about other people and revealing their baby's gender, go mind your own business. I'll mind mine, you mind yours, go mind your own business. That's what I think about that. And the other thing about gender reveal parties, from my own self, is as a mom, it's like the first step into the Pinterest mom world. Yeah. This is a completely different, I'm not talking about social issues or anything, but there's a lot of pressure on moms today and on women when you are having children, once you have children, to throw the I have to spend $400 on a birthday party because it has to be exactly perfect for my baby when he or she turns 1, and they will never remember it.
They don't know anything that's going on.
And I'm a fan of gender reveals because they're fun. It's a fun and it's
they're supposed to be
time.
Cute and campy, and there's something that brings families together and friends together to have a good time. You're not supposed to dissect every single thing that you might disagree with. Let the gender reveal party happen.
Sure.
It's a fun, campy, silly thing to do that brings people together and has a joyous occasion.
There's lots of fun ways to do it. Yeah, I've seen one of my friends shot something. I used a shotgun to shoot something that exploded blue or whatever, and I mean, that's fun.
Is it wrong to bring people together that you love to have a happy moment?
No,
I don't think so.
It isn't. But I will say this. When you're doing things, this is not an ask of people who are wanting to have gender reveal parties. You can do whatever you want. Don't always expect everyone else to be as excited about it as you are. And I've had 3 kids, and I've gone through the arc of this is the biggest deal in the entire world to this is really exciting and I'm really so happy. And that's, maybe the extent of the situation. You don't expect everybody else to subscribe to that same level of excitement. But we've moved into this place now. And a gender reveal party is a good example of it. Kid birthday parties, baby showers, wedding showers. You know what? We are overinflating the importance of the event and losing sight of the people. And if you're being asked to be part of a wedding and it kind of sounds like a nightmare because the bride is a psycho and she's not, it's like sucks all the fun and money out of you, just reevaluate your situation.
Right. You can say no.
Yeah, and the same thing as if you are a bride and you're getting all excited and things aren't going exactly the way you want them. That's life. And guess what? Marriage is going to be exactly the same way. The same way. As evidenced by the 2 flat tires on my car this morning. Well, my husband got up so I could sleep in and take my baby in to get antibiotics for an ear infection. So I was not happy that the 2 flat tires in the car and the $700 later. I wasn't happy about that. But guess what? My daughter was going to the doctor. My husband was taking her, and he took care of everything, so I didn't have to do it. So I didn't have to get up super early to make that happen. So, it's all about wins and losses. It's not about everything going your way all the time. And if you were throwing a gender reveal party, or if you're having a shower thrown, hopefully the shower is being thrown for you and you're not throwing it for yourself. This is another thing. But if you're the center of attention at a party and things, and you're so invested in the things, not the time spent with people, not the moment, but you're invested in everything going right and all of the things that need to be done and all of the things that you need people to do. Make sure that you understand that if everything went to pot today, you'd be more worried about those people and less worried about the things. And I cannot stress enough how I'm 33 years old with 3 kids now. I know I'm still young. I know I'm probably younger than most of the people who are listening to me right now. And I got a lot of learning left to do. I had my first baby when I was 25. And I feel like I look back on that now and I'm like, was that a responsible decision to have a baby when I was 25? And, the people who came before us had babies when they were, they get married right out of high school and have babies right away. So times are changing, but we get it's such a problem with our culture right now that we're so invested in the stuff. We're so invested in the things, Facebook, social media, Instagram, all of these social media outlets that allow you to show all these things. But more importantly, to see all these things, to see, well, this is what this friend got to do, and this is what that friend, well, if I don't have that, then it's, maybe then it's not that great. False! You can have no parties for your baby, and your baby is still great, and you still get to be a mommy.
Yep.
That's a great thing. So if your daughter is having a baby, or if your daughter is getting married, and they're freaking out, remind them that you love them, and tell them to chill and try to very lovingly give them that dose of perspective, because it's something that is lost on our society today. So I just think that the gender reveal party it's a new thing. It's a new thing to I guess Charlie had it. My oldest son, we didn't do anything for him. But with my daughter, we bought cupcakes and took them around to people. But there was no party.
Yeah. They won't really remember it.
No. So, completely. All right, we're going to take some phone calls when we get back. If you want to join us, 314-969-9797 or 866-455-9797. More to talk about coming up here. A little bit of Illinois news. No more good news, but we'll talk about that for a second, too. And also, this is according to MSN.com. There's a report out. It says millennials are broke because they're making choices out of order. And it talks about marriage before the baby carriage. Maybe not the most popular thing to talk about, but we're going to give it a shot. Stay tuned. Give us a call if you want to join the conversation, 314-969-9797. Follow us on Twitter. You can tweet us there as well at Annie Frey Show. We'll be back in just a minute.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Dependable weather.
Clouds take control today. Chance of a couple of spotty
with Fox 2 meteorologist Dave Murray.
Brought to you by Air Comfort Service with 0% financing and double utility rebates on new HVAC systems. For details, visit aircomfortservice.com.
I don't want to wait.
You never want to wait.
Not when I'm sticking to the couch.
Well, those guys can install a new AC for days. Evidently, no one can.
Jerry Kelly can install a new AC tomorrow. Yes, tomorrow, even if we call it 8 tonight.
Wow, that's fast.
They're fast and they're good.
Mathematically, that actually equals got it going on.
Tomorrow, I love ya.
JerryKelly.com.
It's 6:42 p.m. Time for Steve Plotto and his son Dylan to do the dishes. They talk about everything from the yuckiness of girls to the awesomeness of his soccer team. Sometimes they don't talk at all. Then, hey! The dreaded splash fight. It's Dad o'clock, and it's the best time of the day. Because the smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Hi, this is Savannah Guthrie with an urgent story developing right now in every state and county across America. Despite having more than enough food available in this country, there are nearly 16 million kids, that's 1 in 5 children, struggling with hunger. They often don't even know where their next meal is coming from. And the worst part is, this has been going on for years. There's no excuse for it, and that's why Feeding America is doing its best to put an end to childhood hunger. As a nationwide network of food banks, Feeding America engages local communities in solving hunger by collecting surplus food, giving hope to hungry kids and their families all across our nation. But they need your help. Join me in supporting Feeding America and your local food bank. You can start by going to feedingamerica.org to learn more. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're Feeding America.
A message from Feeding America and the Ad Council.
My name is Dale Pazinski, and this is how I live United. I volunteer with United Way, helping the homeless in my community by teaching computer skills and helping them build a basic resume to save on their very own USB drive. It's huge when somebody says, "Hey man, that job that you helped me apply for, I got it." My name is Dale Pazinski. I help people achieve financial independence. So I don't just wear the shirt, I live it.
Give, advocate, volunteer, Live United. Go to liveunited.org. Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
America's talking to Fox News.
President-elect Donald Trump says he wants cars and other products made in the U.S. How important is it to you to buy American-made products?
It's extremely important to buy American-made cars or products in the United States. Extremely important.
Even though it is better if we make certain products here, tariffs haven't worked in the past, and if we're required to buy American-made products, they might be more expensive.
It's not that important to me.
Would you buy a foreign-made car or computer if it's cheaper than one made in the United States?
I'd buy whatever's the better quality.
Well, I mean, of course, everybody wants to save a dollar, but it's like if I knew that it wasn't made here, I would feel guilty, so no.
I think it's important. I'm looking at some appliances now, and I'm looking at American-made. Somewhat difficult to find 100%, but I'll continue my pursuit.
America's talking to Fox News.
Think fast. In the short time it takes to listen to this message, a small flame can turn into a big fire. Several minutes more, and thick, poisonous smoke may have filled your lungs and reduced your ability to respond. Give it 5, and your entire home may be filled with flames.
Keep breathing. We've got you.
Don't let your world go up in smoke. Have working smoke alarms and practice an escape plan for you and your loved ones. Learn more at usfa.fema.gov because fire is everyone's fight.
The news of the day.
I strongly urge the committee and the Senate to confirm Chris Frey as director of the Federal Bureau of Investigation.
Every day.
Donald Trump Jr. In retrospect, I probably would have done things a little differently.
Moving into perjury, false statements, potentially treason.
St. Louis's FM News Talk.
We will be in session the first 2 weeks of August.
FM News Talk 97.1.
I wouldn't want to go home and face the voters either.
We should be here doing people's business.
Younger, smarter, better.
Cowboy.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Welcome back into the Annie Frey Show. Speaking of cowboys, Jamie Ullman on the weekend.
Hey, Jamie!
You a Kid Rock for? Are you a Kid Rock for Senate fan?
Pardon me?
Are you a Kid Rock for Senate fan?
Yeah, of course. I mean, why would I not be?
I don't know. We had trouble finding FCC approved bump music to put on the show today, but I was listening to his music on the way into the studio today and actually laughing out loud to myself in the car about his songs and what he's singing about and thinking about him in the Senate. And then I was like, but Debbie Stabenow, yeah, I'll take Kid Rock. That's fine.
Well, you know what? Here's the deal, though. We saw him in Cleveland because he was performing at the Republican National Convention.
Mm-hmm.
The guy, you know, everybody kind of thinks the guy's kind of like this skippy, dopey type of dude. That guy is multi-talented. I mean, he can play the piano. I mean, he's really... I never really was a fan because I really didn't really listen to a lot of his music. But, man, the guy's pretty well put together.
Yeah, and, you know, he is not the person that he presents himself to be. You know, he kind of looks very rednecky. You know, like I said earlier in the show, he is hosting a fish fry in Nashville, which is like come as you are, and we're going to have a huge fish fry and probably drink a lot of Jim Beam. But what he is he's a smart man. He was not born poor. He did not come from a very, you know, like living in a trailer like he talks about and puts the perception out there that he is. He didn't come from that. He came from a wealthy family, and he's just made something of himself. It's kind of like Larry the Cable Guy, which if you ever catch him in his true self, he's not Mr. Cutoff shirt and you know, talk with the twang. He just has a character that he plays, and he's made a lot of money doing it.
Well, I do know that if he saw some dude dressed the way Goldstone was dressed, he probably wouldn't meet with him. I know that for sure. So we got that part covered.
So Russia, it just continues to be a big deal to the media, which really means a whole lot of nothing to me anymore. I can't watch the news anymore and decide what's real and what's not. So I kind of just try to read a lot of articles and take in as many different sources as I can. Is Donald Trump Jr. in some trouble, and consequently from that, if he is the president?
No, this is the sum total of, I think, the collusion meme that we're hearing.
Mm-hmm.
And this was an unwise meeting from the optic angle, but it was really just a mess because you had all these really bad players in it. It was like the Keystone Cops. You had this Goomba. Have you seen this guy's picture? He's wearing some kind of like, you know, Russian hat.
Like says Team Russia on his T-shirt.
Yeah, and this guy, you know, he's got this shirt that has elephants on it for. I mean, and then you have this woman who is as absolutely just dirty as its day is long.
Mm-hmm. And
then you have Donald J. Trump Jr., who apparently was trying to please Dad and doing all that. But now, listen, I'm trying to figure out what illegality can come out of this. Nothing. Embarrassment for sure, because you know, although it turns out that this one guy who they're talking about as being the foreign intelligence guy, he was a translator. So that's why it's not getting a whole lot of coverage now. And I tweeted out just a little while ago 3 separate stories about why I figured that people were focusing so heavily on this Russia thing. One was a town in Maine finally had to hire Americans because there was a shortage of foreign labor
mm-hmm.
in Maine. Then you had the fact that ISIS has been all but, I mean, you realize they're on the verge of destruction, ISIS is, because of President Trump's cabinet appointments and General Mattis.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have the situation where you have upcoming hearings where you're going to have these guys like Ben Rhodes and all these Obama appointees being called up to talk about all these leaks and that kind of stuff and all the NSA leaks. And so things are really getting hot. So no wonder. I mean, if I'm a Democrat or if I'm a liberal, if I hate Donald Trump, of course I'm obsessing about this. Now, if I'm a conservative and I'm a supporter of Donald Trump, then also I'm concerned about it because I think it's an example of a true lack of respect. I think for President Trump, for the campaign. I think these guys, Donald Trump Jr. included, I think these guys are just not smart. Manafort was shaky from the beginning,
mm-hmm.
and I think Jared is snaky. I think the worst part about this is I think President Trump has surrounded himself with some guys who really do need to go. I think.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, and so yeah, I think just to act like it's nothing is ridiculous, but to act like it's Watergate is similarly so.
Yeah, I've seen so many lawyers on all of the channels going through and talking about it, and they all kind of said what you said, which is it's embarrassing and he shouldn't have done it. But there's people are talking about treason, for heaven's sakes, and you look at the facts and the information that we've had on previous politicians who should have you would expect to know better, and the things that they've gone through and the procedures that they've taken in an election season or even as sitting representatives. It is a far stretch, but you did say something. It is embarrassing, and I feel like right now the Trump administration has launched itself in the air, and they're waiting to see if we can stick the landing here. What does Trump need to do to stick the landing with it's his son? So I'm thinking in my mind. Does family come before country? He's the president of the United States. What does Donald Trump do to assure the conservatives, the Republicans, the people who voted for him and who need to push his agenda through? How do they stick the landing here with all this mess?
This is where President Trump's in a rock and a hard place. This is how it's unwise to have people that tied to your family involved in what you're doing.
Yeah.
And the best thing that can happen is for Jared to do what he did in this meeting, and that is walk out and say, I'm done. I'm no longer part of this. I'm going to handle this with my lawyer. I'm going to take whatever's coming, but I'm going to fight vigorously in my defense. But I'm no longer part of the administration. I think President Trump needs to these guys need to respect him enough to say, I'm done. And they shouldn't make President Trump fire his son-in-law. All right,
Mm-hmm.
and they shouldn't make President Trump. Donald Jr. is not even part of it. So, at this point, people like Jared. Plus, I don't think Jared really was clean from the beginning. So, at this point, I think these guys just don't know what they're doing. And you know what? Sometimes this is what you get when you get people who aren't trained, as you saw with Hillary's former minion, Brian Fallow, or whatever his name is,
Mm-hmm.
who came out and said that the worst crime that Donald J. Trump committed was that he didn't hide the meeting, that they didn't delete the email. It's like, so the fact that these guys aren't swamp creatures and don't know the art of hiding and being swamp creatures, I don't think it's a bad thing, but for us it's a bad thing because we're honest people, and so we want to make sure that we just don't act like this is nothing. And I think that President Trump ultimately Jared needs to just say, I'm out. That's what he needs to do. And Manafort's already out.
Yeah. Do you have anybody in mind who you think would be a good wingman for the president, somebody who could be in his ear and monitor him and help him kind of navigate the process of Washington, D.C. to get what he wants done faster and done well?
I'm going to go off the grid here.
Uh-oh.
You guys know how crazy I am.
That's why you're on. Yeah.
Vice President Pence.
Oh, really?
Oh, no, come on. I mean, he's the vice.
Uh-huh.
I mean, President Trump needs to listen to this guy because he just hired a new chief of staff. He's a good guy. And President Trump doesn't need any more outsiders.
Mm-hmm.
He needs a guy like Mike Pence to kind of get him straight. And I'm sure Pence has been, in his ear a little bit. But I think President Trump needs to kind of double back on some of the insiders. And Pence is not a swamp creature by any stretch of the imagination.
Right.
So, between that and maybe Kreskin, who can predict these kinds of things. Okay, you guys are too young to remember Kreskin. You have no idea who Kreskin is.
I don't. Who is he? Tell me who he is. I can't be the only person.
And you're with Katie Bailey, who I know.
Katie's on Wikipedia right now.
I have no idea.
Who is it? Tell us who he is.
Well, first of all, he's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
He's the amazing Kreskin. And he used to
Google
go on Johnny
Amazing
Carson
Kreskin.
and bend eyeglass. I mean, the guy's amazing. So and he's a soothsayer. He's a guy who can predict the future. So that's what that is. And by the way, Annie, since you pretty much raised Katie Bailey from the ground up, has there ever been a happier person on crutches?
No. She's the best. I asked her on the way in here. I go, so are you staying here all night, or are you going out to have a Saturday night? She's like, my friend said that they wanted me to go out dancing. I'm like, you could do the Lisa Turtle. I don't know if you're familiar with Saved by the Bell, but there's a whole episode about her being on crutches, and she does this dance. But she's just smiling and talking about, I'm just like, I would be the crabbiest person in the world if I was drugged down by those things.
I know. I think it's so funny. But
you guys are too nice.
Together, so yeah. No, Annie. But seriously though, wouldn't that be your choice? So wouldn't Mike Pence be the guy that could probably, I think he probably is, and I think President Trump kind of knows he has a problem in his circle, and things are just not really. People aren't looking out for him properly, and so they need to.
I think it's also important that we remember that we are 6 months into a presidency. So in the grand scheme of things, it's still early, and some of these lessons are going to be learned the hard way when you elect somebody for the purpose of being an outsider. That's why we wanted him in there, because we are sick of the way things are going. And I myself don't give President Trump enough credit for picking Pence as his VP, because he is a time-tested, very successful politician who he's carbon copy conservative, which is not what Donald Trump is. So he really did pick somebody to be by his side through this process. And I think you're exactly right. It'd be the right place to go to resource when it comes to the navigation of the system, how it works, who to talk to, how to talk to them, and let Donald Trump do what he does. But just, a point in the right direction every once in a while, and taking that back from Kushner would probably be one of the smartest decisions he could make right now.
Yeah, these guys have been sloppy, and I think you're right. And as you point out, we're 6 months into the presidency. 6 months into the presidency, we have ISIS on the run, we have Maine hiring Americans, and we have an investigation beginning that finally will grab some Obama people who will be appearing before a subcommittee. So I'm pretty optimistic about the future. I don't need to be Kreskin. I'm pretty optimistic about the future here.
Well, Jamie Allman, thanks for giving us some time on a Saturday. Hope you're having fun with your family or something.
Absolutely. If I could find a Russian to fix the pump on my pool, I will.
We need a Russian pool man to come out to Jamie's house and fix the pump.
You guys are great. You have a great show as always, Annie. And Katie Bailey, thank you for everything, too. So,
bye, Jamie. See you Monday.
Okay. Sounds good.
Bye, Jamie. Yeah, bright and early on Monday morning, 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. here on 97.1. Jamie's great. He's very funny, and nobody, he talks about you being so happy on crutches. Nobody has that much energy. I don't know people at 5 a.m. in the morning. But Jamie Allman is ready to go.
Jamie has
all morning
best
long.
Energy. Mm-hmm. He walks in, he's happy, he's smiling, he has ideas. I don't think Jamie's brain shuts off ever.
It's hard to keep up.
He is always on it, always knows what to say, so smart. I love working with Jamie.
Yeah.
I love it.
Well, Jamie Allman in the morning, weekdays here on 97.1 from 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. One more thing I want to talk about before we get out of here today. Ivanka Trump, G20 summit, got to sit at the table when President Trump vacated. You will never believe what she dared to wear while she sat at that table. And some liberals just can't handle it. We're going to talk about that coming up next. Follow us on Twitter at Annie Frey Show, and you can tweet us questions. Rich will get to your call right after this break. Back in a minute.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Log on to 971talk.com/Allman and you can watch the show live on the Arrowhead Building Supply Studio Cam. Use your mobile device or computer to join the All in the Morning live stream. Arrowhead Building Supply Studio Cam, 971talk.com/Allman.
You don't usually get a stock tip from a 16-year-old, but I'm here to tell you about a different kind of stock. It's called Better Futures, a stock for social change that's not about making money. Instead, you invest to help students like me go to college. This is beyond a simple donation. It's the opportunity for America to invest in its kids and take an active stake in the future of the country. The return on your investment isn't money. What you get back is knowing you protected our potential. So one day, that potential can grow up to become surgeons and architects, executives and engineers, people who can change the future just by being a part of it. My name is Alicia, and I'm your dividend.
Invest in better futures with UNCF. Visit uncf.org/invest. A mind is a terrible thing to waste, but a wonderful thing to invest in. A public service announcement brought to you by UNCF and the Ad Council.
When is the best time to talk to your family about staying in touch during a disaster? When floodwaters reach your door? When wildfires are engulfing the edge of your neighborhood? Or an earthquake is destroying buildings? Or is the best time perhaps today? During a disaster, you may not be able to stay in touch with your family or friends as easily as you think. Go to ready.gov/communicate and make your emergency plan today. Don't wait. Communicate. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
According to our accusers, the free market is stealing all of our manufacturing jobs, letting our competitors humiliate us, and ruining our culture. Ouch.
This is the Free Market Minute with Dr. Rachel Duchant.
There are certainly trade-offs, but the free market is a win-win deal. Just because trade with another country makes them richer doesn't make us poorer. We get their products cheaper. It's not their fault that we're losing manufacturing jobs. That's mostly due to automation. We're becoming a service and information economy. Every culture at every time in history warned that the new generation is going to hell in a handbasket. I know we have issues, but if the disco era couldn't destroy American culture, Snapchat isn't going to do it. We have plenty of work to do, my friends, and free markets must be a part of it.
To learn more, visit Hammond.Institute. The Free Market Minute is a service of the Hammond Institute for Free Enterprise at Lindenwood University.
Only in the forest can you see this. And this. And this. But nothing beats the moment you see that.
Cool!
That's your child's eyes opening up to a world of possibilities.
I didn't know it could do that!
Because one trip to the forest can spark a world of difference.
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org. Learn about forests near you and discover cool things to do when you go, like hiking, canoeing, fishing, or camping. Or create your own adventure with family and friends, and you might just see this. Your moment's out there. Find it at discovertheforest.org. That's discovertheforest.org.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Weeknights 7 to 9.
Spying on Americans. Sean Hannity. Obama secretly conducted illegal searches on Americans for years. On FM News Talk. It's so sick. 97.1.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
For Senate. We can't, I mean, if you're not watching the webcam right now, we're playing all Kid Rock music today in honor of his maybe Senate race in Michigan to unseat Debbie Stabenow, and we just can't take it seriously.
My name is Kid!
We're like, I know he says my name is Kid Rock here somewhere. Just wait for it. Okay, wait a little bit longer. You're still listening to the Annie Frey Show, even though this is not the normal 1990s country music that you usually hear. It's just funny. It's funny to think that Kid Rock is running for Senate, and I'm basically okay with it.
Yep.
I mean, I want somebody who can win. I want somebody who's going to stand for fiscal responsibility, and there's so much to get right in that house before we can talk about any of the social issues, any of them, which is why I would support why I voted for Donald Trump in 2016. I don't think that Donald Trump cares about any social issues from a governmental standpoint. He might have personal opinions about things, but I don't feel like he feels like his job as president is to weigh in on those. It's much more libertarian. Just, I'm going to worry about getting us out of this massive amount of debt and deficit that we have and making sure that ISIS doesn't blow up the other half of the earth. That's what I'm going to work on. And then the rest of the stuff, okay. But with the Donald Trump, what you get is non-Hillary Clinton Supreme Court appointees, which is the biggest reason why I did vote for him. So, Rich, thanks for calling the Annie Frey Show. Did you want to weigh in on that at all?
I do. Thanks very much for taking my call.
Yeah, thanks for calling.
Well, I want to push back on Jamie a little bit. I'm listening to both your shows. I like your show very much, by the way. I want to say that Trump Jr. should be nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize for doing nothing less than what the Times and the international press, especially the United States press, does every day, which is to expose corruption in government parties worldwide through a series of tens of thousands, I think 22,000 national government, non-government organizations, et cetera, activists, whistleblowers worldwide. They want our Supreme Court to be internationalized. They want our government to internationalize. They want a free exchange of information and exposure of corruption worldwide, except from Russia and except when it benefits the Republican Party. So we need to change the narrative and praise Trump Jr. for doing exactly what he's morally and ethically obligated to do, which is, if information possibly legitimate pertaining to real corruption in the Democrat Party or any party or the Republican Party, from anybody on earth, any foreign power, any entity, any individual, might come his way. And by the way, he doesn't necessarily trust the FBI, which they would have known at that point, incidentally, was standing against his dad, especially with Comey. He's certainly obligated to look at that just as Woodward and Bernstein would be, just as these Chinese activists are who are serving long prison terms. So I'm tired of this. I know I'm going on a little bit, Eddie, but I'm tired of this narrative where we attack our own for doing what the left praises their own across the world for doing every day. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Thanks for the call, Rich. I appreciate you listening. But, Donald Trump Jr. pursued some information. He's been very forthright as far as we know. I mean, one of the biggest criticisms is that he was so forthright with the truth and so quickly. And we don't have any of that. And to what Rich was saying, how much information did we find out about Hillary Clinton, about John Podesta, about the way the DNC operated? How much information did we find out from WikiLeaks about how they choose to make their ship float? We found out a ton. We don't know yet how those emails were turned over or received by WikiLeaks. So there is a question there as to how that information was acquired. But hello, if we had a media that was constantly working on behalf of you and on behalf of me and not on behalf of an agenda by a political party, maybe some of this stuff would have come out. So nobody is ever complaining about whether or not the information that, like, for instance, WikiLeaks released was factual. People are not out saying that it's fake news. Nobody is saying that WikiLeaks and the information that they released is fake news, because they've confirmed that the emails are legit. So the story, the narrative now becomes the reason we now hate Russia, the reason why Russia is now our mortal enemy, when if you recall back to the Mitt Romney-Barack Obama debates in 2012, the 80s called and want their foreign policy back, or whatever it was that Obama said. He was mocking the fact that Mitt Romney would identify Russia as a geopolitical threat to the United States. Mocking it. It was a line, a mic drop line on President Obama's part. The left loved that then. Oh, but now Russia. Oh my gosh, Russia is the worst thing in the entire world. It's not because they're a threat to America. It's because they're a threat to Hillary Clinton and Democrats. That's why they hate them. That's why it's a big stinking story. And when you flip through the news channels and you see 2 or 3 news channels covering Russia all the time, that's because they are threatened as a political party, not as a country. That's why they care now. So thanks, Rich, for the phone call. I appreciate it. I wanted to get to this real quick. So Ivanka Trump, another family member that is sitting in a leadership position of some sort, she was at the summit with President Trump, and President Trump had to get up for a minute and go to another meeting, because that's what he does, is constantly getting pulled in a million directions. Ivanka Trump wore a soft pink dress, and it had bows on the sleeves. So here you have a young female woman. I think she's my age. I think she's 33 or 34 years old, sitting at a powerful meeting with the world's most powerful people, she's sitting there and she's participating. So let's just for a second say that Hillary Clinton is president. Hillary Clinton gets asked to go to another meeting, a side meeting, and have a discussion. And Chelsea Clinton gets ushered to the table and she gets to sit there. What would the Democrats do? What would progressives do? What if she wore a soft pink dress and decided to sit there in her beautiful outfit and sit with leaders? What would liberals say about this?
It's a pink dress with big bows on the elbows. There's something incredibly ornamental. That's not a dress that's made for work. That's not a dress that's made to go out in the world and make a difference. That is a dress that is designed to show off your girliness. And, God bless her, show it off. But don't then tell us that you're crusading for an equal place for women at the table, because you're not.
An equal place at the table for women. This is what you're saying to me, that a young, strong, successful female is sitting at a table with the most powerful people in the world, and because of what she's wearing, she's not powerful and she's not advocating for women having an equal place at the table? Girl, you are off your chair. I cannot believe that these liberals are willing to contradict what they hold so dear in feminism today. This is the worst example to me of feminism cannibalizing itself and making it so that a woman cannot win for trying. She is sitting at a table in a beautiful dress that has bows on it. You're telling me that a woman sitting in a pink dress with bows on it diminishes her power? Can you imagine for a second a woman in the Senate or in Congress coming to a meeting with President Trump, sitting at a table and making a statement, asserting her position as an elected leader, a representative of people, or as somebody who has been appointed to a position, somebody who serves, just think about Valerie Jarrett. Think if Valerie Jarrett was wearing a pink dress with bows on it, and Donald Trump back in the days when he would come on Fox News and be on Fox News, think if he would have said, you know what, Valerie Jarrett, she doesn't belong, nobody put her there except for President Obama, and President Obama is listening to what she says, and she has the nerve to come to a meeting wearing a pink dress with bows on it. That's not powerful. Holy crap, what would people say and do if Donald Trump said that a woman's pink dress with bows on it diminished her ability to bring authority to the table and stand for equality for women? They would eat him alive. Right? That was Joan Walsh, and she writes for the Washington Times, said that she was dressed in a dress that made her look ornamental. Like she's a pretty little thing that Donald Trump put at the table. I guarantee you, when President Trump asks Ivanka to take that seat, it's not to be ornamental. It's because he trusts her. Her. Not somebody else. He trusts her. He is giving her that seat. He could give it to anybody, and he gives it to Ivanka because he trusts her. Not because she looks pretty in a dress. Are you kidding me with this? She says that's not the kind of dress that you wear to make a difference in the world. So here feminism used to be about creating an equal situation for women to be able to achieve those things that men can achieve, and to make it so that the gender of the person doesn't play into or hinder one's ability to achieve success. And so here you have Joan Walsh, who's disgusted with Donald Trump to begin with, criticizing Ivanka Trump for sitting at an extremely powerful table and wearing the wrong dress. I'm sorry, but you're the one who's putting baby in the corner. You're the one who is saying that her gender is affecting her ability to do her job. You're the one who is too short-sighted to see the brain between her two ears and see her ability as a thinker, not as a female, but as somebody who is a thinker and a doer to do her job. That's on you, Joan Walsh. That is not on anybody else. It's not on Donald Trump. It's not on anybody else. It's all on you. Sorry, I know it's unfortunate. But we keep working in this progressive world trying to equalize the outcome for everybody instead of equalizing the opportunity. And this is the type of thing that happens. You got to control everything. The government has to control everything. That's the way it goes. And you have folks like Joan Walsh willingly coming on saying, and she says later on in that interview, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get a lot of vitriol on Twitter for this. I know it's coming at me. Well, you should know that. Usually when you have that type of a reaction, it's going to be immediately bad. Thanks for listening this weekend. Appreciate you being here. Check out the podcast. Randy Tobler on today. Jamie Allman on today. You're not going to want to miss it. If you miss some of it, go to 971talk.com/Annie and get the podcast. Thanks for joining me. We'll be back in next week. Downrange coming up next.
Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
America in transition.
Friends, critics, allies, all kinds of people are worried about it, including Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer.
Making America great again requires more than 140 characters.
Internationally, China's state news agency is saying an obsession with Twitter foreign policy is undesirable. They're basically calling on him to shut it down, saying it's not child's play when you're dealing with these big issues in 140 characters or less. But listen, he made history by the way he used social media in the elections. Here's what Professor Michael Cohen from George Washington University told us about Trump's use of Twitter.
Most campaigns have teams of people who are designing tweets and testing tweets and rolling them out over time. If Donald Trump feels something today, he's going to tell you that.
We're told by his own staff, listen, he wants to tweet it, he does. So it remains to be seen if he might use his multiple Twitter accounts differently as president. Got that @real Donald Trump versus the official presidential account he's going to get. In Washington, Shannon Bream, Fox News.
Think fast. In the short time it takes to listen to this message, a small flame can turn into a big fire. Several minutes more, and thick, poisonous smoke may have filled your lungs and reduced your ability to respond. Give it 5, and your entire home may be filled with flames.
Keep breathing. We've got you.
Don't let your world go up in smoke. Have working smoke alarms and keep heaters 3 feet away from anything that can burn. Learn more at usfa.fema.gov, because fire is everyone's fight.
Ranger Station.
Yeah, hi. I'd like to report a bear sighting in the forest. 1 second, I'm having a smoke. Next thing I know, I'm face-to-face with Smokey Bear. Wow. And he told me it only takes 1 spark to start a wildfire.
Did you know 9 out of 10 wildfires are caused by humans?
I had no idea.
That's why Smokey's famous and you're not. If you see someone in danger of starting a wildfire, step in and make a difference. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council. Learn more at smokeybear.com.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
People are always talking about the stock market, always looking to invest in a good opportunity, something with the potential to grow. So what if you could invest in the future of kids, like a stock? Not the kind of stock where you invest to make money, but a stock for social change. A whole new kind of investment called Better Futures. When you invest, it helps students like me go to college, which ends up making the future better for everybody. I could be the first college graduate in my family, the first district attorney from my neighborhood. And if I'm the first, then maybe there will be a second and a third. This can really be the start of something. My name is Charles, and I'm your dividend.
Invest in better futures with UNCF. Visit uncf.org/invest. A mind is a terrible thing to waste, but a wonderful thing to invest in. A public service announcement brought to you by UNCF and the Ad Council.
KFTK FM Florissant, KFTK AM East St. Louis, K254CR St. Louis. Powered by Window World. FM News Talk 97.1.
Trying to hammer out a health care compromise. I'm Jane Metzler, Fox News. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell trying to convince some Republican colleagues to sign on to his revised Obamacare repeal measure.
At least 5 moderates are on the fence. Senators Dean Heller of Nevada, Lisa Murkowski of Alaska, Rob Portman of Ohio, Shelley Moore Campedo of West Virginia, and John Hoeven of North Dakota. A Senate source tells Fox News that all 5 met with Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell late yesterday to ask for changes that could help them support the bill, specifically a more generous formula that would tie the growth of Medicaid spending to the rate of inflation. The source tells us that it's doubtful McConnell will give in on that point, but the Majority Leader also can't lose another vote, so those moderates do have some leverage.
Fox's Garrett Tenney.
No KKK, no fashion.
Protests against the Trump administration taking place around the country today. That one outside Trump Tower on New York's Fifth Avenue. Healthcare, one issue.
They're here also because of obviously the recent Don Jr. news, which has added fuel to the fire this weekend. But frankly, we have been seeing protests almost on a weekly basis around the country. Also, what we're seeing across the street here back in New York City are actually supporters of the president who have also showed up with signs and hats that say USA and supporting their president of the United States. They're also here, less in number.
Fox's Brian Yanis. A shelter set up in Honolulu for residents of a high-rise condo complex. 3 people killed in a fire there, a dozen injured.
The 3 individuals were found on the 26th floor, so that's the floor of the origin of the fire. And right now we're going door to door to see if there's other folks. We're not sure exactly what the total count is right now.
Honolulu Fire Chief Manuel Neves. Built in 1971, the high-rise had no sprinkler system. Fox News, fair and balanced.
Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling. Weather with Dave Murray.
Plenty of sunshine, nice from start to finish. 89 for the high this afternoon. Low humidity tonight, gorgeous. What a wonderful evening on the way. Clear skies and nice 65 for the overnight low. Sunday, partly sunny skies, few more clouds around. Looking for a high near 90. The heat and humidity building back next week. I'm Fox 2 meteorologist Dave Murray for FM News Talk 97.1.
Power, performance, style, and a commitment to be the best. Jaguar St. Louis knows what it takes to be a winning team. Come out today and test drive the all-new F-Pace, recently named the 2017 World Car of the Year at the New York International Auto Show. Plus, all new Jaguar models are backed by Jaguar Elite Care, our best-in-class coverage. Jaguar St. Louis, a Plaza Motor Company, on Olive Boulevard and JaguarSt.Louis.com. Class is cars sold by luxury automobile brands, and claim is based on total package of warranty, maintenance, and other coverage programs.
Think fast. In the short time it takes to listen to this message, a small flame can turn into a big fire. Several minutes more, and thick, poisonous smoke may have filled your lungs and reduced your ability to respond. Give it 5, and your entire home may be filled with flames.
Keep breathing. We've got you.
Don't let your world go up in smoke. Have working smoke alarms and keep children 3 feet away from anything that gets hot. Learn more at usfa.fema.gov, because fire is everyone's fight.
Roll back, repeal, and reject the regulators, and watch America become great again.
This is the Free Market Minute with Tim Jones.
The effects of regulators gone wild are felt by everyday Americans. Higher electric and gas bills, courtesy of the EPA, dramatic hikes to food prices, courtesy of the FDA, a severe loss of loans and credit to small businesses, courtesy of Dodd-Frank, and fewer healthcare choices and higher costs thanks to Obamacare are just a few examples. The incoming Trump administration has promised to roll back job-crushing, economy-killing regulations and slash thousands of ill-meaning bureaucrats from the government rolls. If new political leaders at all levels follow through on these promises, strap in tight. Once the economic engine of American entrepreneurs and small business owners is unleashed and unshackled, this newfound freedom will result in more jobs, higher wages, and newfound opportunities for all Americans.
To learn more, visit Hammond.Institute. The Free Market Minute is a service of the Hammond Institute for Free Enterprise at Lindenwood University.
How to be a great dad in 15 seconds. Bike ride, go fish, walk in the park, phone call, milkshake, play catch, picnic, fly a kite, tell jokes, laugh, talk, read a story, tell a story, bumper car, swing set, bowling, pillow fight, cut loose, stay tight. Whew. Because the smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Think fast. In the short time it takes to listen to this message, a small flame can turn into a big fire. Several minutes more, and thick, poisonous smoke may have filled your lungs and reduced your ability to respond. Give it 5, and your entire home may be filled with flames.
Keep breathing. We've got you.
Don't let your world go up in smoke. Have working smoke alarms and always stay in the kitchen when cooking at high temperatures. Learn more at usfa.fema.gov, because fire is everyone's fight.
trending on FM News Talk 97.1.
Most people would have taken that meeting. The lawyer passport was approved by Attorney General Lynch.
Stay connected.
Promised to repeal Obamacare.
Finish the health care bill. Lipstick on a pig. It's cosmetic changes.
Obamacare is total meltdown.
Keeps most of the Obamacare regulations. I'm just not for that.
This is
Mr. DiNardo confessed in the murders of 4 young men.
FM News Talk 97.1.
This is Downrange with John and Ron. Certified NRA instructors John Henderson and Ron McCain from the Range St. Louis West take you inside the world of firearms and personal protection. This is Downrange, the radio show that asks,
Are you ready?
Well, welcome back to Downrange with John and Ron, the show that helps you answer the question, are you ready? So, Ron, are you ready?
Yeah, but I really wish you'd wait longer to start talking so I could listen to the intro music.
You can borrow it. I've got it on my phone.
I've got it on my phone. I'm awesome, man.
So, absolutely.
I'm always awesome.
Another great week. Lots of different stuff going on in the world. We're going to sort of skip over recounting all the negative things in the world, and we're just going to focus on some of the positive things this week of things you can do to just help yourself a little bit. So we're going to talk a little bit about ammo selection, which is really important.
A lot of people overlook that.
They do.
That's
they
one of the most surprising things to me when somebody comes into the store and they're looking at a gun, especially first-time buyers, and it's 100% they just don't realize, their first-time experience. But I'm going to
focused on that gun. That's the big object, exactly right. and especially if you're new to it.
Yeah, but I'll still poke a little fun at them. It's once they've decided this is the handgun for me, and we've talked through that process. The next question is, you're going to need ammunition for that. How much do you need? Well, a box is fine. No, it's not. You're going to have to practice. You're going to have different ammo for defense. The gun in, yeah, so because otherwise you just spent $400, $500, $600 on a club that you could have spent $15 down at the Sports Authority and gotten a better club.
Baseball bat. So, and then that's going to lead us into it. We want to talk a little bit about some of the essentials to carry with you when you're carrying in general. And some things that you may not think about, such as spare magazines and so forth.
Yeah, we've talked about this before, but it absolutely bears revisiting. And in fact, we haven't even mentioned it, but Dustin Pluth, our semi-pro shooter and one of our trainers there at the range, is with us again this week.
Hey, just keeping me around is a good thing, I think.
Well, we just actually, this has worked out well for us because if you notice, he was on the show with us last week when we talked to Randy Rogers. We just left him here at the studio.
Yeah. I ride
came back to him. So
we showed up and he was here. So.
Yeah. But having Dustin, having your input on that, having teaching those classes, shooting competitively, what are those handgun basics that people need to focus on?
Yeah, I mean, fundamentals goes across the board. It doesn't matter what you're doing.
Yep. It doesn't matter what gun you're shooting. It's transferable from platform to platform.
Every caliber, every shape, size, make, manufacturer, it doesn't matter.
They're just essential. They're just some essentials that everybody needs to keep in mind if you're going to be a responsible firearm owner, if you're going to carry that firearm for your personal protection and for the protection of your family. There's more than just the gun involved in doing that.
Absolutely. So before we get into too much discussion there, Ron, as always, let's go over what's going on at the range. We're about halfway through July at this point. So we've got our mob going on.
You know how many guns so the mob is our members only, for those of you that don't know, it's our members only bunker bonus. So for the members of the range, folks that are members of the range have purchased memberships from us, and we got all kinds of membership options everywhere, everything from like $10 a month on up to our lifetime membership and everything in between. We offer something every month that's a special just for our members, and this month you get 2 guns cleaned, inspected, sighted in, absolutely free. About $100 value. And how many guns do you think Rich has cleaned back in the last 2 weeks?
Rich has been cleaning a lot of guns.
He kind of hates us.
Both, so yeah.
But he has seen some really cool guns. Yeah. Those that paratrooper, that M1 carbine paratrooper that came in, super cool rifle that And you know what was super cool about that is the gentleman had inherited those from his grandfather. Is that right? Had no idea what he had.
Yeah.
And brought it in and said, I'm a member. I got these from my grandpa. They've been in my safe for a little while. Can you clean them up for me? And we were just drooling all over those things.
Yeah, just some of those guns are just, you don't see that many of them, especially in decent condition. So, yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, he's cleaned a lot of guns. He's gotten really good at it and really fast. So, but keep in mind, if you are dropping your guns off for cleaning, it's not something we can usually do in just a day or two. There's a line there. So just be a little patient with us, and we'll keep doing that all month.
And Rich he is a stickler for the details. I mean, your gun will be absolutely perfect when you get it back. So, but we offer that for our members. 2 guns cleaned, absolutely free.
One of the benefits of being a member. So if you're not a member, you need more info on that, just call us 636-220-1300, or you can email us at downrange@therange.stl.com. Come by the store, 14803 Manchester Road. And we got half a dozen different membership options: first responders, retired military, 2 different levels for the average Joe, just based on how much you
or Jane, average Jane or Joe,
how much you shoot on a monthly basis. You can do it monthly as well as just pay annually. So there's 2 different payment options there as well. So something to fit just about anybody.
And we design those to save people money. If you have a firearm and you a concealed carry permit, you need to be practicing. You should be shooting a couple times a month. And that membership is designed to help you save some money and have some fun and get some free stuff while you're doing it. So.
And the mob, the member-only bunker bonus every month, gives you basically the whole value of your membership back almost every month.
Oh, so the first few that we've run, we did the $75 or $100 off a gun. We did a big ammo sale.
Half off of training.
Half off of training. People have saved more than they come close to spending on that membership.
Absolutely.
So anyway, just that's who we are, right?
Yep, it's who we are, and it's a good deal for you if you need. Just check it out. Need more information, like I said, just online at therange.stl.com. You can actually sign up for membership online.
Sure can.
You will have to do a little paperwork the first time you come to visit us, even if you sign up online. But that's just part of the process. You can sign up for classes online as well at therange.stl.com.
Yeah, but definitely take a look at that option. So, what do you want? Should we go over maybe the calendar for the rest of the month?
Let's do the calendar real quick.
So, Dustin, you got to do it last week. Are you up for it this week?
Yeah, I can read things sometimes. So, all right. So at the range, we got a few classes going on for the rest of July here. July 15th, we have a basic handgun course.
That was today.
Every time.
You did that last week, too. That's hilarious.
All right. So we have July 18th, we have a defense